Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the main stage. We are very excited to get right into our next amazing speaker, which is actually speakers to grace us all today. So, we're going to be talking about how purpose at work is increasingly important and how we have an opportunity to choose really how and where we spend our time and energy. And this group up next are going to help us learn how women are at the forefront of medtech. And to help us with this, I'm going to bring Betty Larson to the stage. Betty, hello, welcome.
Hi, Margot. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
I know, nice to connect on this so special stage today at the Women Tech Global Conference. Let me tell everyone a little more about you, Betty. So Betty Larson is GE Healthcare's Chief People Officer. So that's all up there, everyone. She is going to bring to us more than 2 decades of her human resources and communications leadership experience, specifically coming from the healthcare industry. So she joins GE from a company just before called BD, so Becton Dickinson and Company. They're a leading medical tech company with $20 billion in revenue, 75,000 employees worldwide. And there she served as executive vice president and chief human resources officer. Before that, I'll tell you too, she started her career in medical and biosurgery companies where she held multiple positions of increasing responsibility over a 16-year tenure. So we are in good hands here today. Larson Betty also serves on the board of directors for Baxter Credit Union and the Overlook Foundation. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in human resources, and another master's degree in business admin, in case that wasn't enough. So Betty, you are here, and you're here with a few of your peers, like we alluded to, who will pop in with us shortly. You're going to tell us more about the talk that you've all titled "Your Future in Digital Healthcare: Improve Lives in the Moments That Matter." Betty, over to you.
Great. Thanks, Margot. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm actually at a Lean Kaizen event in one of our manufacturing plants, and I snuck away and I'm squatting in this very cool room that I know the team uses here for brainstorming and innovation. But hopefully no one will come kick me out. So we are really proud and excited to be a headline sponsor for this year's conference. I know you've been talking about this over the course of not only this meeting, but other meetings. But, while women today represent nearly half the workforce globally, we're still substantially underrepresented in tech. And there's many reasons for this. There's many reasons why women avoid the sector, 2 of which include a lack of understanding or misconceptions about the types of roles that are available to them in tech, as well as a lack of visible, accessible female leadership role models. And so this conference is a phenomenal opportunity to address at least 2 of the reasons very, very directly. And I know that you are already getting exposed to a number of really interesting careers and roles, as well as phenomenal female leaders and innovators through the speakers and the panels and your networking. And I know that you'll see 2 more here shortly that you'll be inspired by. Let me spend a little bit of time just talking about why this is important to GE Healthcare. Why did we feel we wanted to be a headline sponsor for this conference? First and foremost, Marco talked about my 23 plus years in medical technology and in healthcare. At GE Healthcare, we recognize the essentially important role that tech will play and have a tremendous impact on healthcare. We saw this probably more recently, more than ever before, in the actual fight against the COVID pandemic. One of the things I think that was the sad reality is healthcare can't wait. So patients still need to access care, whether that be in a healthcare institution or in their home. And over the course of the pandemic, companies like GE Healthcare, so many companies around the world, found really creative ways to ensure patients still had access to high quality care through digital and tech innovation. And so we know patients out there had access to care, whether it be diagnosis or treatment, in the moments that matter. But we also know beyond increasing access that tech provides a really important opportunity to fundamentally change the delivery of care and the range of personalized options that patients have, leading to better overall outcomes. And so, here at GE Healthcare, through data science and AI, advanced algorithms, smarter analytics, we're in the business of bringing better information to clinicians who can make quicker, more informed decisions. And so, for us, if you're in tech and you're in tech and healthcare, you have an opportunity to really make a consequential impact on patients' lives. The second thing that matters to us is that med tech in general has a skills gap, in particular in the areas of digital and tech in particular. And while that skills gap is pretty broad, it's particularly pervasive with women in tech. We know that there's not enough women in tech. And this is troubling to someone like me because I think we all recognize the important role that women have as stakeholders in healthcare. First and foremost, women are the primary decision makers in decisions around what type of therapy to pursue and when to pursue those therapeutic options. So 80% of the decisions around use and options are made by women, whether you be moms or sisters or daughters or patients. We also know that 70% of the workforce providing healthcare, whether it be doctors, nurses, technicians, are female. And last but not least, women are patients, and unfortunately underrepresented in many cases in the clinical studies that we're pursuing. And so perhaps we're missing the point in how innovation is impacting women. Disease impacts women differently, and so there's an opportunity as patients as well. So hopefully I've made the point that women are decision makers, they're providers, they're consumers of healthcare. And so we need more women in healthcare. This is an area that, again, we're still underrepresented. The number of women in leadership roles, or even more interesting, the number of female founders of health tech companies is just not where it needs to be. I think it's 9% of health tech companies that are out there have been founded by women. So this gender gap definitely exists. And we need more female innovators and inventors. So the need is clear. And we hope through at least sessions like today, we can inspire more women to pursue careers in health tech companies like GE Healthcare. Tying it back to what Margot said at the very beginning, the problems that you can come solve here or any healthcare company matter. Right? I mean, we spend so much of our time each day working at work or at home or wherever you're working from. So much of our waking time we're working. Why not make that time a really meaningful investment and put your skills and capabilities towards solving problems that can extend or enhance the lives of others? At GE Healthcare, we are very proud to be working on solutions to advance the delivery of care, to increase the range of outcomes through precision diagnosis, therapy, and monitoring, ultimately to also help alleviate the burden on healthcare systems around the world. And I know you're going to feel that sense of pride and purpose in the comments and examples that you hear from my GE Healthcare colleagues here today. There are two very inspirational women in tech, and I hope that their stories and their examples that they share will help you find some inspiration from some pretty impactful women in tech. So I want to turn it over to Graciela and Aruna, my colleagues from GE Healthcare.
Hi, everyone, and thanks so very much for joining us. And thank you, Betty, for kicking off our session. And I believe Ivo has some slides he's going to help me share here. I just want to start off with some numbers and a little bit of a personal story. So GE Healthcare invests $1 billion annually in R&D, and that's R&D that goes into innovation that just improves healthcare overall. We have over 300,000 patients that are supported daily using our imaging agents, 4 million imaging, mobile diagnostic and monitoring devices are in use worldwide, and over 2 billion patient scans are managed by GE technology every single year. And this really helps us help clinicians provide the best patient care possible. So one of the things that we started with, and our Margot in introducing this session talked about this sense of purpose. It's so great to have a job where you come to work every day, and these are just numbers. But I tell you, it comes home when you have someone in your family who actually has an experience with an illness. And my husband and I are super active. And recently, he actually needed knee surgery. And so in this next picture that Eva is going to bring up, You can see him in the hospital. Imagine my surprise when all of a sudden one of our x-ray machines gets rolled in with the techs, and the techs are super great about showing me how they're using our equipment and our imaging. And I was able to see his x-ray immediately, right then and there, very quickly, high quality. And so it really brought home how the work that I do with our teams directly impacts patients, including when those patients are very near and dear to our heart. And in the next slide, just want to talk a little bit about the areas where we tend to focus on with our healthcare digital specialties. And that includes advanced visualization, that imaging, cardiology, IT, enterprise imaging, and this is across the hospital, including the operational aspect of getting patients to the right resources within a hospital just as fast as they can get there. And this was, as Betty mentioned, really critical during COVID, where we're optimizing the use of beds within a facility and across facilities. And then that performance intelligence and analytics, a lot of that comes actually with artificial intelligence. And we have radiology, oncology as well. And then, I just wanted to take a moment to then, Ivo, I know as you build the slide, really you heard Betty. We actually also had Dana DiFerdinando, who spoke yesterday on the road to Chief Digital Officer. In addition, we had Roshni, who talked about being a mom and an executive in the healthcare digital space. Manali is talking today about getting the yes, and she's a product manager and talks a little bit about her role. On June 10th, we have a number of women who are going to be joining us at GE-sponsored Summit for Bangalore. So if you're available on June 10th on the Bangalore time zone, you'll see these wonderful faces playing a role. I'm working also with Tara during a Kaizen event today. And now I'm going to actually hand over the reins to Aruna, who is our principal architect for Edison Artificial Intelligence Platform. There are so many other women, as well as allies, who really help us be our best and develop products that are inclusive and innovative. And as you heard from Betty, there's no better time than the present to really inspire all of you to join us in this journey of really in health tech. And so if you're not yet convinced that this is an amazing area to be in, Aruna is going to take you that next step. Take it away, Aruna.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you, Betty. It's amazing to work with all these wonderful sisters at GE Healthcare. I would like to share my journey. I actually come from an industry of starting my career at ERP, CRM, finance, online banking, and now I'm here at GE Healthcare. What a satisfaction I get working on this job. And you must be curious, okay, what is my role? What am I doing? So I'm a principal architect at GE Healthcare. And in my role, I get to architect platforms and solutions that can help build AI products. And this platform is a scalable platform where we get to build multiple different AI models and get to deploy these AI models on device, many of our GE Healthcare devices, X-ray, MR, CT, ultrasound, and not only on these devices, but on-premise software at the hospital and on cloud that will be used by hospital providers and several other folks. Now, in my role, I get to work with several of my sisters, of course, men and women included, and they all are supportive of this. Now, you may ask, okay, what is so different in this healthcare job? Every day I open my laptop, the immense satisfaction is that I get to save people's lives. It's not actually just a story to share, but I'm really going to show the impact that me and several other women in GE Healthcare are, impacting the world with. So I would like to share my screen. Eva, if you can help see my screen. Hope you guys can see my screen. So this is the endotracheal tube positioning AI software. Think of the situation. Hey, I have COVID. We all have been through this pandemic. And I cannot breathe. I'm in such a critical condition. They put me in ICU. And now what happens? I have to breathe. They intubate me. And what do? They insert what is called an endotracheal tube into my lungs. And this tube has to be positioned at the exact location. If it is too high, you cannot get the right amount of air into the lung in the right duration, and the patient life is still under the same threat. If it is too low, it can cause a lot more further damage, that it could even cause heart attack and other severe critical conditions. Now, what is the way that today it works? They take an x-ray, and a skilled person, a radiologist, comes and looks at this x-ray and ensures that this tube is rightly positioned. It typically takes from anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. And if the hospital is very crowded, it's a lot more harder. And you know how things were during the pandemic. And, I'm here in California, and I have several different hospitals around here. I can pick any of those hospitals, but think of locations where there's hardly many hospitals, especially with skilled people. So what do? And that's where our solution comes in. Ours is the first AI solution that can identify exactly where this tube is placed automatically. So then now what happens with this solution? The scan is done right then or there. The measurement of how far away this tube is from what is called a carina, it is displayed, and look at the error rate. Even if it is few millimeters away, it is life-threatening. So this AI algorithm exactly shows where it is set up. Now do you understand, am I saying the truth, that how life-saving every single day I spent at my work? I want to just share one more add-on story here. So I also volunteer for a nonprofit organization. And I talked to this founder and CEO, and he comes and tells me, hey, Aruna, the same AI algorithm that you worked on, and I'm sure your team worked on, that is now getting deployed at this free hospital that is going to serve thousands of underserved population and eventually millions of people in the underserved locations near Bangalore. And now think about the satisfaction I would get when the work that I have done and the team has done, it is now directly impacting people's lives, underserved people's lives. It's all going to be available for every patient. Now, again, for all of you, as we have been saying, as Betty has been sharing, as Grace has been sharing, it is this opportunity that I want all of you sisters to get out of this. Be in the tech industry, be there to help save people's lives. And if you would like to be part of our journey, you can very well meet us at the GE Healthcare virtual booth right at this conference. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Hello.
very much.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and popping in one after the other to give us your amazing insights. We do have like one more minute, and so I'm scouring here to see if there's a question from our audience. But in general, people are saying like amazing work, positive impact. And I think that's really like an important part of what you're doing here, is that you're creating something with technology that at the same time, resonates with so many people. Yes, it resonates with so many people because it's providing this kind of positive impact. I think a lot of us are looking for that in our careers now. For any of you here in the group, when you chose this direction of the path in your career, were you partly impacted in your decision making by the fact that what you were working on would make a difference?
I don't mind. I can answer. So I've been in the industry for 23 years, and GE's healthcare is going through a spin out. So it's a particularly interesting time. I think for me, it's remarkable when you choose to join a company. So just a very short story. My father's got advanced prostate cancer. He's been fighting it successfully for 20 years. He's 87 years old. He would have, I'm certain, be overdosed or underdosed or or overtreated if there wasn't technology like these individuals work on that uses smart systems to say, gosh, we don't see the bone metastases advancing. And so he's okay for now. And so I think when you actually start to experience your loved ones on your own products, that's really an incredible experience. And when it's because of innovators like the two women here and thousands more, that care just keeps getting better and better and better. That's incredibly motivating. For someone like me, I say, gosh, if I can get more fantastic female intelligent innovators into this industry, we're all going to be better off.
What a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Betty. And thank you everyone for being here today. Have a great rest of your event.
Thank you.
Thank you.